Jewish anxiety is real. It's not a stereotype. It's not a weakness. And it's not all in your head. We inherit it from our history. We learn it growing up in an unsafe world. And without realizing it, we pass it on through our stories, our habits, and even our holidays. But here's the truth. Jewish anxiety may be real, but it's not inevitable. In the audiobook, Unlearning Jewish Anxiety, How to Live with More Joy and Less Suffering, Rabbi Caryn Aviv, rabbi, sociologist, and longtime teacher of Jewish life, explores how awareness, compassion, and Jewish spiritual wisdom can help us calm our nervous systems, unlearn these patterns, and suffer less. Here's an excerpt from the audiobook, Unlearning Jewish Anxiety, How to Live with More Joy and Less Suffering. Jewish anxiety is real, and you're not alone. What would your life feel like if you were less anxious? How would it feel to experience more joy, not because you've worked hard enough to earn it, but simply because you're alive? Jewish anxiety is a terrible, sneaky thief. It steals our joy. It shrinks our world and constricts our imagination of what's possible. Maybe you're listening to this audiobook because the title made you laugh with recognition. Maybe most days you feel generally anxious, restless, or uneasy, but you don't know why. Or maybe you know someone Jewish and anxious in your life, and you're curious to understand more. Whatever the reason, I'm so glad you're here. I hope this audiobook offers you some insight, practical tools, and relief. I wrote this out of necessity because I lived with disabling anxiety for most of my life. I've learned that I'm not alone, and neither are you. We can free ourselves with awareness, compassion, and practice. So many Jews experience persistent, debilitating anxiety, and we laugh it off as inevitable, as just a fact of being Jewish. We learn early on how to act smaller than we are, to take up less space, keep quiet, be good, and please others. Some of this suffering is the legacy of our inherited intergenerational trauma. Some of this suffering is an understandable response to deeply entrenched anti-Jewish contempt and violence in the world. When we don't feel safe, worthy of care and respect, and when we worry about whether we truly belong, life can feel deeply anxiety-provoking. Learning to become anxious is not our fault. Anti-Jewish contempt is real, pernicious, and pervasive. Unlearning Jewish anxiety focuses first on the Jewish value of tikkun atzmi, healing ourselves, by taking responsibility for how we respond to that challenging reality and caring for ourselves with kindness and compassion. Then, when we care for ourselves, we become better resourced to address tikkun olam, the Jewish value of repairing our broken world. I reject the idea that anxiety is our birthright. Our anxiety robs us of making different choices to live in the present moment with more awareness, ease, pleasure, and calm. I know from my own lived experience that we can heal our anxiety habits to free up space in our lives for other things like joy, creativity, and collective action. It's our responsibility to nourish and care for ourselves, to honor our needs for safety, love, acceptance, and belonging. It's up to us to nurture our bodies and our spirit, especially in difficult times, such as the one we are currently living through. It's up to us to take responsibility for our own healing from the suffering we inherited, the anxiety we carry each day, and the anxious patterns we transmit to others in our families and Jewish communities. I believe that when we change our habits, we can suffer less and change our lives. When we change our lives, we create space to change the world. Unlearning Jewish Anxiety is about learning how Jewish stress, trauma, and habits shape our lives as Jews. I'll identify several common Jewish anxiety patterns, and I will offer a framework grounded in Jewish texts, values, and practices that you can use to identify and unlearn your Jewish anxiety habits. The Hebrew word and prayer aleinu means it is upon us. I think it's up to us to liberate ourselves from habitual suffering. We can free up our individual and collective energy for more joy, creativity, liberation, expansiveness, activism, or whatever we're yearning for in our lives. I believe we can become more present for all the blessings that life offers us. Unlearning Jewish Anxiety: How to Live with More Joy and Less Suffering is available now wherever audiobooks are sold.